Okay, let's start with the first question. Could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Thu Mitsumphanh. Um, I am the Flight and Operations VP for Flight Training Thailand, and I'm originally from the U.S. and we have moved here, our family here, to work in Thailand for almost 6 years now.
Why did you choose to work as a flight training Thailand? And what are the requirements for this job?
Okay. Well, it's why did I choose to work for Flight Training Thailand? Flight Training Thailand is a pilot uh, training center. I've always loved the aviation industry, and this position has given me a job that I love, and uh, it makes me feel like I'm not going to work every day because if you love what you do, um, it doesn't feel like work.
In your opinion, how is working as a flight training Thailand different from another position? Could you please explain a little bit further about this job?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's different because, for one, I get to use English every day because I'm not Thai. I don't have to use the Thai language, and I don't have to learn how to read and write Thai yet. But I can get around and I can get by. Um, but this position is different from other position in that I'm able to uh, be an influence in the country for the country of Thailand. Their this position in the U.S. is very there's a lot of people in this position, but I think in Thailand there's only a few companies that does the pilot training. There's only a few here in Thailand, so it makes my position a little different from your typical accounting, your typical office work, or doctors, lawyers. There's thousands, but here we only have a few training centers that train pilots in Thailand.
Could you please tell us about your work experience and how long have you worked in this career?
Before I worked in this field, I studied music as a musician. So it totally went from something that I enjoyed doing while I was younger into something that developed over time. Um, I was able to study electrical engineering and computer engineering, and that led me to the technical aspect of the aviation industry, which is flight training. Went into simulation technicals, and then now in my position as kind of managing over the whole training center. My work experience before this was quite different, but you never know which door will be open to you, and you always take the most of every opportunity that you have. So that's what I did. I started as a professional musician and went into working at an avionics shop, and then working at a simulator company, and now I get to be in charge of pilot training. So it's very enjoyable.
We all know that English is very important now. And okay, I would like to ask you that how English skill play an important role in this career.
Sure. Um, English is basically a common language in aviation. Every pilot has to go through what they call aviation English, and make sure that their English proficiency is up to standard. So English plays a big role in this industry because an airline deals with international customers and international business, English is very, very important in the aviation industry. So I suggest that anyone who is thinking about going into aviation should be very serious about studying the English language.
Okay, before we move to the next question, I would like to ask you that is there any memorable experience, like both good and bad experience in this career?
Okay, I'll tell the good experiences first. The good experience here for me, what's rewarding is I was able to help with a startup company. So I was here from the beginning and was able to develop to where we are now. And so for me, it's very rewarding to see the development of the business. The bad thing is not really. I wouldn't say too bad, but just to get used to the different style of working environment, I guess, especially the language barriers. So I had to learn Thai very quickly. I had to try to understand the culture. I had to understand the people. So sometimes we get lost in translation, and it gets really bad. So yeah. So for me, situations culturally could get bad, but I think it's getting better as we live longer in Thailand, as we stay longer.
How do you handle with an unexpected situation occurring in this career?
Okay. Airlines and our training center is similar in that the airlines have aircrafts. They fly. The pilots fly the airplane. In our company, we have a simulator. If the simulator goes down, then that's kind of an unexpected situation as well. A similar situation with if we have a problem with an aircraft, they would have an AOG or aircraft on ground, and those are unexpected situations where it could cost the business or cost the airline to halt for a while. So we deal with the same thing. We deal with AOGs with our simulators being mechanically inoperational. So we have to expect the unexpected. We prepare for unexpected situation in that we have spare parts. We have technical support on hand and standby. We have different vendors that we can have contacts with in case of an unexpected situation or emergency situation. That our goal is to have the highest standard in our operation. So in order to do that, we have to have preparation for unexpected situations.
How do you manage your work life and your personal life as a work-life balance?
Okay. I have a family. I have my wife and 2 kids. So I consider my work life as something that I do to support my family. So as you may heard some people say, you don't live to work, but you work to live. And that's in our case. My work life is so that I can sustain to have a good life after work. So I don't stress. I don't spend too much of my life trying to work per se. But of course, you have to work to sustain your family. So my family comes first. So if there's anything that that would hinder between my work life and my family, I would choose my family first and foremost.
How the environment in the workplace motivate you to work?
The environment in our workplace, uh, again, it's you get to deal with pilots, so you get the different news. You get to associate with new pilots coming in. So we get the latest. For example, if a new airline pops up, we would get introduced to the new pilots, and we still interact with the senior captains, and so just being able to talk and communicate with the industry kind of gives the work environment an interest, because it's something that I'm already interested in, and so it's good to hear that so and so airline is doing well, or so and so airline is having a new route. They're going to Hiroshima. They're going to so we get to kind of get the first scoop on which airline is going where. So it kind of makes the working environment uh, you know it makes you motivate it gets you motivated to go into work.
What do you think about the current economy in Thailand, and how does it affect to your business?
What I think about the current economic in Thailand, I know that everyone is struggling. Every business, from small businesses to mom and pop shop to big businesses, big industries, we're all struggling right now with the situation with the COVID-19. Um, this affects our business in that if airlines if airlines are not flying, um, they have to reduce their pilots, and if they reduce or laid off their pilots, then uh, they their recurrent training. Pilots have to get their recurrent every 6 to 8 months, and what that means is that they're not going to have new pilots. If they don't have new pilots, they don't have training, so we won't get more training. If we hear that the economy is booming again, there's more tourists, planes are flying up in the air again, then we can see that okay, maybe they're hiring new pilots, and so more business for us as pilots needs are met. So it does affect us somewhat, maybe 50-60%, but there's still pilots that are still keeping their license current, as they have to. If they don't, then they would lose their license, and so most pilots, even when they're laid off, they would pay their own money to get their license recurrent or keep their license current, in order to be able to fly when when the airlines open up again for pilots.
How do you adapt your organization to the current situation?
We have to accept it. Uh, in any situation, we have to adapt and overcome. I know, like as I mentioned, most small businesses have to close or file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. However, we have a client base who is keeping us sustainable through this time. Um, in a local low cost airline that trains with us, um, and they've been sending their pilots as usual. A little less, but they're still continuously sending their pilots. So it does affect our business, but we have to accept the fact that we will break even or even be under for a few months. So we have to prepare for the worst, but we hope and expect for the best.
For the last question, could you provide any suggestion for the people who would like to start in this aviation industry?
Okay. If someone that wants to work in the aviation industry, as we've mentioned in the earlier discussion. Get your English pronunciation, understanding, comprehension, reading, all the English stuff. Get it up to standard. Practice speaking with a foreigner. Practice speaking with someone who has experience. Maybe that's their native language. Secondly, if you're gonna start a business, I suggest you have a lot of money. Aviation is not cheap. It's a very expensive field to get into. But if you're going to be an employee, I would suggest, again, have a lot of patience. As aviation in Thailand and Asia is very different from America in many aspects. And I've seen, as far as a television show for air hostess here in Thailand, and they pick the best looking and the best, the most intelligent personnel to be an air hostess. Where in America you just apply, and if you qualify, you'll get it. It doesn't matter how you look. So it's very different, and there's good and bad. And in my field, if anyone that would like to be in the pilot training field or want to become a pilot, I would suggest that they would start now. There are a lot of simulator video games out there. There's a lot of schools in Thailand that you can apply in order to become a pilot. You don't have to be a commercial pilot. You can be a private pilot, and then if you love it, you can fly for an airline. So there's a lot of steps in that, and the questions is very specific, but yet the answer is up to the individual. If you want to be in this field, in the aviation field, you have to love it. You have to love it. Otherwise, you're gonna hate the job. You're gonna want to get out. Even if you're a pilot, you don't fly enough hours, or you don't, things will get onto you or get under your skin if you don't love what you're doing.